I release what's no longer serving me and invite in my authentic self.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Cosmic Clarity Podcast. I am your host, Claire, and I am so happy that you are here. It means so much to me because if you're here, I just know that you're a beautiful soul. You're an infinite being of love, and you're a beacon of light. Wherever you go, you sprinkle magic. Stay curious, stay open, and watch your magic unfold. Okay, so today I want to talk about how mirrors are quite literally portals. This is a very important topic for my podcast, since my podcast is the main point of it is to help people learn how to love themselves, because once you love yourself, you shine this light and all of a sudden you become magnetic to what your soul's true matches are, right? So your soulmate, your abundance, your dream career, your everything, okay? And also, I want to be real and remind people that I'm still on my journey and that this is my journey. This podcast is very much about my own journey of loving myself and feeling safe in my own body and safe speaking my own truth and what I believe and what I see and my visions and my just what's going on with me, right? But again, I'm on my own journey. And so following your own internal guidance and knowing that the power is within you and that you are so freaking wise and intelligent. Your soul has infinite intelligence accessible to it. So don't ever forget your own power. And yeah, I'm by no means perfect and I'm going through a lot right now. And, yeah, I have my own self-doubts and I'm on my own journey and I'm going through my own quantum crumble, cosmic crumble, which I can discuss in another podcast, what the quantum crumble is, because I can see it's happening in our collective in a lot of ways. So anyway, if you're interested, let me know. So anyway, the mirrors are portals, you guys. And I think that this is very important for me to talk about today because it is not something that I was programmed to know. And it's crazy because it's so freaking important what you're thinking about when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, because it's just reflecting more of that back at you in the mirror. But, that's the only time that you see yourself. Okay. So it's just reflecting it more back at you. But so it's also, it shows you your subconscious mind. So when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, whatever thoughts are coming up, those are reflecting back to you, your beliefs about yourself that you have and the way that you see yourself, which then reflects on your aura and it becomes you. It literally pixelizes into the 3D. Okay. So your cells are always listening to you as well. Your cells are always listening to you. You are the universe in human form. Okay. So also paying attention to that when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, knowing that your cells are listening and they are going to adhere to the voice of God. Your voice is like the voice of God to them. Okay. And they are adhering to what you're saying. So if you're saying that you're not good enough, your body doesn't look good enough, blah, 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 they're adhering to that and doing that. Right. So yeah, it's interesting because, during my dark night of the soul, my depression, I did gain quite a bit of weight. I think I gained like 20 pounds, which is not something I'm comfortable with, because I don't know. I just love feeling connected to my body and I felt really disconnected to my body. But I was really hard about myself in the mirror. Like I was very hard on myself. And it's just so interesting because it's like what that did is manifest more of that to come in and to become crystallized in to be reflected back at me in the mirror, even more and more and more. And in order to come out of that, I had to love exactly where I was, accept every cell in my body, even though it was 20 pounds heavier than I wanted it to be, and then I knew I could be, and that I knew felt so good to be. I had to learn how to reprogram my mind to love myself, which then changed the structure of my cells, the way my body was crystallizing in my hologram, right? Okay. So there are a few different types of mirror work exercises you can do. I think you should try just staring at your eye. Choose one eye and stare in it for 8 minutes and 20 seconds, which is, I just love that time frame because that's how long it takes a beam of light to get from the sun to earth and into your retina. So I just think it's a very interesting amount of time. So you can also think about that. Think about how insane that is, that it takes that amount of time for light to travel from the star, our sun, down to earth and into your eye, into your retina. And then also realizing that that's what's happening. When you're staring at yourself, you're literally staring at all of these light codes. You're staring at all of these wavelengths of light, which are coming into your retina, being processed by your brain, telling you who you are and what you look like and what's going on. It's just the most insane experience when you realize that you're literally staring into your own eye, looking back at you. It's just, you'll have your own experience with this and have fun with it. And it's also interesting how hard it is to look at your eye. It's this meditative experience and you're watching your own mind. And that's why your subconscious is so obvious when you're staring at yourself in the mirror, is because it's so obvious. You can hear it so loudly because you're looking at it right in the freaking face, right? You're looking at yourself right in the face. It's pretty hard to deny these thoughts that are coming in. And it's so sad, the thoughts I used to have about how I wasn't good enough and how I always looked for something that was wrong with me. That's what I always looked for. And so at the beginning of my journey, when I was 20 pounds overweight, like I didn't love the way I looked, right? I was like, I'm never walking away from a mirror again without seeing my beauty, without seeing how god darn amazing I am, even though I don't look the way that I know I'm capable of looking. So I made sure never to leave the mirror without finding the good. And so sometimes, and of course it ebbed and flowed. Some days it was easier than others. And this is also an important note for my divine feminines is, of course, it's going to be harder during your late luteal phase or during your bleed, right? It's going to be harder, or not always, but most often. And remembering that that's so freaking normal. It's actually part of your normal anatomy and physiology. Have we been taught this? No, we haven't. But I think times are changing. And I know my daughter, if I have one, will know this. Okay. So anyway, knowing that it ebbs and flows, some days are easier than others. So yeah, and I started to zoom out. Like I would literally look at myself and then I'd relax my eyes and let myself see my whole self. Because that's what people are seeing. And that's what also a download that came in while doing this is like, people are looking at me, but they're seeing all these wavelengths of light coming in at them. They're seeing my energy. They're processing my body language. They're processing the clothes that I'm wearing. They're processing the sound of the room. They're processing the background of the room. They're processing all of this energy and data. There's all these wavelengths of light, all these sound waves coming in, all these things that their brain is processing. So they're not looking at that piece of acne, on my head right here. They're not looking at that. They're looking at the whole thing. And so I had to literally learn how to relax my mind and realize people are looking at the whole thing. And then the people that know me have another dimension of me. So not only are they looking at the physicality of me, the sound of my voice, my energy, the clothes I'm wearing, they're also knowing that I'm of a certain archetype. They know that I'm a smart person, that I was class president of my PA class, that my mom was a doctor, that my dad is this, that I'm from here, I'm in this certain socioeconomic status, yada, yada, yada. There's all these other pieces of who I am. And even beyond the superficial pieces of who I am, it's my heart and my energy. And they are picking up on that as well. And that's going into what they're seeing in me and how they're picking up on my attractiveness, right? It's not just the symmetry of my face. It's not just the piece of acne on my head, right? It's the whole thing. You know, what's so crazy about it all is that I realized I got this download of like, so if they're processing my whole self, their brains are decoding all these wavelengths of light and all these pixels, 222 on the clock. But who's to say I can't change the pixels? Who is to say I can't change the pixels? Which is exactly what's happened, guys. I've gotten hotter and hotter every second of every day. Like, it's like, the more I love myself, the more mirror work I do and see my beauty and know how God, just a blessing from God I am, the more I can see it, the more it's projected out on the screen of other people's retinas, in the hologram that I present in the 3D, whatever. Okay, so people are picking up on this. They can see my beauty more and more every day. Because why? Because I see my beauty. Because then I feel better. So yeah, how it all manifests is I feel better. I make better decisions. I decide to take more showers. You just start to be different because the mirror is literally a portal into you. It's you. It's so you. And I think that beyond that, it's actually you on every single timeline. It's you as a sweet, innocent child. It's you as that old person right before you're going to die, because oh my God, it's you. And it's so freaking beautiful when you realize this. And it's also your family. It's also your family and all the people that you love. And it's so god darn beautiful. Yeah, the more mirror work I did, the more I realized, yeah, you can relax your eye and see the whole picture. And then I started to see like that my jaw looks like my brother, and that like my forehead area looks like my dad, and that my eyes look like my older brother. And I started to see all the people I love in my face, right? And it's just such a gift to allow myself to see that. And yeah, I can't reference the exact science, but I know Andrew Huberman talked about once how seeing the sun triggers the brain to like basically like have this like horizon view of like where your brain is a little bit more relaxed and you're seeing like this panoramic view, which triggers like this certain good feeling hormones or something, or it's good for you. I can't remember why. But I realized that's kind of what's happening when I'm looking at myself through that wider lens, through that panoramic view of being able to relax my vision, stop hyperfixating on this pimple that I have, stop hyperfixating on this side of my face is slightly bigger than this, stop hyperfixating on whatever, and just relax and see my whole self and see the whole picture of me and how freaking incredible I am. Not only am I a freaking dime, am I a gift from God, a literal sexy queen, but also who I am, the energy that I bring to a room is so magnetic and beautiful and absolutely incredible. And then beyond that, I actually am blessed and I have all these other things that make me such a beautiful soul and radiant being, and yeah, just literal goddess walking earth. So Anyway, mirror work's very important. So be curious about the things that you're thinking about, because the things that you're thinking about are your subconscious beliefs, and your beliefs are creating a reality. And your cells are listening to you. And in order to change, okay, so basically, like, if you want to lose weight, for instance, let's say you want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, well then that means that you want to be you in the now with negative 20 pounds. But you in the now has to be the one that achieves that, right? And so feeling into that version of you that already has it, knowing that you are perfect right now exactly as you are, because you couldn't be anything else. You can't be that version of you that's 20 pounds less without being the version of you that you are right now. And your rejection of yourself in the now is actually the only thing that's keeping that in the present moment. Once you accept yourself and love yourself and send every cell in your body acceptance and love and peace, that's the only way you can start making progress, at least from my experience. I can't speak for everyone, I guess, and I shouldn't, so use your own discernment. But for me, I could not achieve that without having accepted myself in the present moment, knowing I was perfect exactly as I was, because there was no other way I could possibly be, period. And I knew where I was going, and I knew how good it would feel in the now, in the present moment, to feel the weight that I knew I was capable of being, and the weight that was healthy for me, and that made me feel like the radiant goddess that I am, and worthy of that feeling. So anyway, do this. And then, okay, so stare in each eye for 8 minutes to 20 seconds and be curious. Beyond that, every time you look at yourself, never ever leave a mirror without seeing your beauty, without seeing how amazing you are. And some days are going to be harder than others, that you have to search for it. And sometimes you literally, even if you can't find it physically, you can think, you know what? I'm a good person, and people know how kind my heart is. And you can walk away with that. Okay? Because there were some days that I remember I literally was like, you know what? I can't. So I'm just gonna know that I'm just such a beautiful soul, and people know that it's just felt in the ethers. Everybody knows it. Right? So, find the good. And trust me, the hardest days that you find the good, the hardest days are where you make the biggest quantum leaps. That's where you make the most growth. I am not joking you. That's a fact. This is a fact. And what you're doing is you reprogram your mind, you reprogram your cells. And then the next time that you look at yourself in the mirror, the pixels will be different. And sure, it might take a few months, but I promise you the pixels will change on your hologram. I promise you. You just have to trust and know it. Only one that can do it. You are. And stop rejecting yourself. You're perfect exactly as you are, because there's no other way you could possibly be, period. Period. Point blank. Okay? And then if you want to take it one step further, tell yourself, I love you. Look at yourself in the eye and say, I love you. And then feel in your body. What is your body telling you? How is there resistance to that? And be so curious about this. I did this, and it's so freaking insane how hard it was for me to say that to myself. And I'm so happy that I was so curious about it, because it's helped me so much. And I do believe that self-love is the key to everything. It's the key to unlocking everything. Everything. Because everything is you. And the more you love yourself, the more you see what loves you back. The more you see the relationships that are actually aligned with you. The more you see the value that you're bringing to a room, and you start to realize that your energy is your currency. Are things giving back to you the way that you're giving? Okay? So this is very important. Self-love is extremely important. So yeah, tell yourself I love you and see what happens. It's very, very interesting. And then be curious about this. Watch the pixels change. Know that you can age in reverse. You can get hotter and hotter. Your energy can increase. Trust me. Try this. Try it. And then when you're looking at yourself too, and even when you say I love you or you're beautiful or whatever, start saying your affirmations and feel into your body what your reaction of your nervous system is doing, and just take deep breaths. And really feel in your body and relax into your body, into your heart. And again, see if you can really relax your vision, relax your eyes, relax your heart, and just be safe in yourself and looking at yourself. It'll also help you with eye contact with other people. Because if you can't look into your own eyes, chances are when you're looking into other people's eyes, either they're feeling this energy of kind of resistance, or you can't. And eye contact is power. It's important to be able to do. Okay, so I love you so much. Also, I will link my mirror work exercise in the show notes because I have one, and yeah, it's so freaking powerful. And yeah, I love you. You're amazing. You're magnetic. You're so divine. Everything is working out for you. Trust. Watch your pixels change. Your hologram will change when you change. And I love you. Oh my gosh, I am just so ready to put the past behind me and realize I can rewrite my story. I can be whoever the F I want because I'm the one in charge. It was always how I saw myself, always. And so I choose to see my beauty. I choose to see how divine every cell in my body is. And I recognize now that all of that shame and fear and judgment was just a program that had been installed into me from a very young age. And so I decide to transmute that, to alchemize that with love, with acceptance, with openness, with forgiveness. Because I realize now that judging myself in the mirror only reflects more of that into my reality right back at me. So I decide to smile in the mirror. I decide to see my beauty and love every part of me that is there. Because the simple act of doing that reflects more love right back at me. And now I realize that it was all me. It always was how I saw myself. Everything in my reality was just how I saw myself. And now I realize the more I love myself, the more I accept my body and myself exactly as I am, the more love is magnetized to me, flows through me and all around me, and it ripples out into all the people I love. And it's this beautiful, magnificent thing that happens. And I just feel so grateful, so blessed to know this, that I'm so worthy of all these things I've always desired. And that it is okay to desire those things, because if I desire them, that means that they are a reality. And the only thing I have to do is know it and be it every single day. Whenever I forget who I am, I remind myself of who the F I am. I love me.